Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Shireen Purewell bringing you the latest real estate updates. Okay, everyone's been asking me what's going on in the economy, what's going to happen with interest rates, what's going to happen with the real estate market too. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you an update and my insight into all of that, all of the above and all of that. Okay, so firstly, let's talk about the economy. What's going on right now? Inflation is not coming down. And when they say inflation, some say prices are rising. I want you to correct that in your mind. It's really your money is not able to purchase what it used to be able to purchase. So you're losing purchasing power. Let's look at it that way versus prices of goods going up. Your money is not able to purchase. It could purchase one apple. Now it needs more money to buy that one apple. So you've lost purchasing power. That's why inflation is of concern. You lose purchasing power. All right. So really, that's the most important point of all of this. Is that inflation has not come down. All right. Now, what's going to happen with interest rates and all of that? As long as people don't have purchasing power, and we have, most important than all of this, we have a supply issue in the real estate market. Okay. So by lowering interest rate, you now have purchasing power. You can go back and buy a home. But the issue with that is we don't have supply. And what's going to happen is you're going to have more people now having purchasing power and more people bidding for that one apple. Say, oh, that apple used to be $6, it's only $5, but there's only 10 apples and everyone wants that. You're going to lose purchasing power anyways, even if they lower interest rates, because because if there's not enough supply and demand, will just bid the price of that good up. So will you win really? So interest rate announcement is next week and there's another one in the summer. The one next week, I think they're going to hold tight, to be honest with you. I think they're, as much as they can, they're going to try to shy away from dropping interest rates because it's going to put us back in that same issue we were during COVID. We need to create more supply on the market. We don't have enough supply, everyone. And you won't have enough purchasing power until they create more supply. Whether they lower interest rates were low 2 years ago. How did that help you? People were having bidding wars when it was low. So does lowering it again put us back in a good position? No, it won't. It'll put you back in the position you were in 2 years ago when it was low and you were bidding for a home. So I'm not a fan of, and I'm just saying this from your own best interest because they're eventually going to take it back up. What's happening in the market right now is there's too much interference. The Bank of Canada is interfering. The government's interfering. Government's putting these taxes on, speculation tax, this tax. It's like a body, and every part that has something wrong with it, you're medicating. Eventually, you've got a Frankenstein of a body. You've got a Frankenstein of an economy right now where each part is we're putting it all together and trying to have it walk properly, but it's struggling. It really is. And recently, I don't know if you've been following the news, but the Bank of Canada basically came out and said it's an emergency. We as an economy are in a state, as per the G8 countries, where we're actually not that well off, guys. We're actually losing money. That's like a home where you have tons of credit card bills and you have no money coming in. So essentially at economy level, we really don't have any money really coming into the economy, and we have all these expenses we need to pay. And okay, you could use the argument that, hey, US is no better. They're trillions in debt and they don't have much money coming in either. And I heard this whole thing that even if they took all the money from all the billionaires in the US and paid off their debt, the government's debt, the trillions of dollars of debt, and it will only pay off the payment for 3 months only. That's how bad it is in the US. So, I mean, okay, we won't use that argument that, as a country, we're not really exporting more than we've got income coming in. But going back to the point is, we're, as a government or central banks all over the world, the central banking system is collapsing. And the safest place to put your money is in gold, commodities, and real estate. Because look at countries like, Iran or Zimbabwe, or these countries who've experienced economies that have collapsed, or Argentina. Real estate will just go up in price. So if the money, and you hear of Canada now having not enough money to pay their bills, or like the US. Eventually, and they're saying this about the US as well, the currency will suffer. So the Canadian dollar, already suffering, will get hit harder. Someone's got to pay for that loss. Let's make devalue our money, and we can pay off our debt faster, because when you devalue your currency, you devalue your debt as well, what you owe, right? And that's why probably getting a loan now is good, because your loan devalues. There's a lot of points there. When inflation happens, your loans devalue. There's all these multivariable factors. But for me, as an investor, I love real estate. I find it's the safest place to put my money, regardless of what happens in the market right now. If you want a good deal right now, I would say, again, supply and demand. There's no supply. So any real estate you buy will go up in value, because in a year or so, someone else needs it. And if the currency devalues, even will go up more, because inflation again, devaluation leads to inflation. So everything in the economy is pointing to inflation, loss of purchasing power. And the best way to hedge loss of purchasing power is to put it into an asset that, if your paper loses value, the asset still needs more paper to buy it. So what are assets? Real estate, gold. Some say crypto. It's not a backed currency. So I like crypto. It's the best performing asset that everyone's been talking about. But I'm old school. I like my real estate. I like the way real estate works, and that's what everyone's been going to. So if you want a good deal, back to real estate here. If you want a good deal, honestly speaking, you're looking at the condo market, because of the whole Airbnb interference in the market and now making it harder for investors. Townhouses and homes under $1 million are still moving. Still a lot of demand and not enough supply. So you're even seeing sometimes delayed offers, believe it or not, delayed offers on townhouses and homes. So it's interesting times here. And as long as there's not enough supply, you can't go wrong buying real estate. If you're buying a condo in a good location like downtown Victoria at a good deal, you can't go wrong either, guys, because it's just going to go up in value if inflation starts happening, which everything points towards inflation. The wars point towards it. As long as you have a central bank system where they can print more money and they can keep interfering in your economy, yeah, prices of goods are not coming down, guys. They're not. So anyways, guys, I'm very passionate about this topic. It's what I studied. It's my economist side kicking in. And I don't like listening to the news. The news says, oh, interest rates are going to come down. The Bank of Canada. I look at the fundamentals. When I go to the store, has prices come down? No. Therefore, inflation, my purchasing power has not come down. There you go. So inflation is still there, and it's very much happening. When the news tells me that the Bank of Canada will drop interest rates, and some buyers are waiting for that drop. Okay. What will that do, given we don't have enough supply still? It'll cause bidding wars, and they'll just bid it up astronomically. Might as well get in while a bunch of people are not qualified. I've got less competition to compete with to buy. The one market, I would say, wait if you want that interest rate drop. If you're looking to buy a condo, that market, there's enough supply. But the townhouse and residential market, not really, guys. If I were you, I'd get in. Now, if you're an American looking to buy, there's this whole thing that, oh, Americans can't buy. There's this ban, there's that ban. Absolutely, Americans can buy here. You can. There's just certain urban areas you cannot buy in, and there's areas you are allowed to buy in. So you need to contact me, and we'll go over those areas where you can actually buy in, and what applies and what doesn't apply. And I've got a professional accountant, professional lawyer, that I work with that you can talk to, and they can make sure you're safe as a foreigner coming in here and investing correctly. But I'm saying all these things about the Bank of Canada. We're still way more conservative than the US. Imagine that. We're still economically, banking wise, way more conservative than the US. So I don't think this bubble will burst because of the way they're increasing interest rates, and they're hanging tight. And they're saying, a lot of people can't afford their mortgages. A lot of people can afford the mortgages. If they drop the rates, okay, it has to be to a point where they're just helping those whose mortgages are coming up to renew and are struggling, and just to help them get through that period. If they drop it too low, they're going to put themselves in the same situation. Bidding wars, high prices, high amounts, and then you're just going back to the same cycle. To combat inflation, ultimately, the central banks have to stop interfering in the market and let the market run its course. Let the market figure out what's happening. Stop interfering and creating another Frankenstein of a body, because that is what's going to cause a really messed up economy. That's struggling, that's suffering, that the Bank of Canada recently came out and warned of an emergency of. Look it up. And do we want our Canadian dollar to devalue? My goodness, I went to the US and I was like, geez, everything is so much more expensive. Or even when you travel to Mexico, they think US dollars, and we're like, yikes, $20 for that? I can get it cheaper in Canada. Canada's becoming cheaper than Mexico. Imagine that for shopping. So I think that, we really got to be careful as an economy. Hedge your money in real estate, and certain really solid blue chip stocks that you believe in. And, these central banks are interfering too much in our economy. I would, if you want to go into real estate, the really good deals would be condos in downtown or really fantastic areas, because the rental market's still strong. But again, they're interfering in the rental market too. So who knows what investment properties will look like in the future, because of, again, the supply and demand issue. Canada's not investment conducive anymore. Why would I, as an American, invest in Canada? I get taxed 50%. As a foreigner, I can't even buy, and the areas I can buy are like in Timbuktu. I mean, I don't know. I'm very passionate about this topic. But having said that, though, I still feel your money is safe in Canada. That's the good thing. Our banking systems are solid. They're conservative. And also, if you're looking to buy, definitely there's money to be made in good opportunities. And there are opportunities, don't get me wrong, because interest rates are high now, and some people are feeling the pinch, and some just want to get out. And while you can find a good deal, find your good deal now and let us know. And we'll tell you of some where, we've got a buyer trying to get out of a condo presale project, or we've got a buyer who's struggling and doesn't want the bank to repossess it. You can come in there. Or there's a property listed and we know for a fact that seller needs to sell. We can talk to you about these different opportunities there. But from a real estate market perspective, yikes, guys, real estate is where I would put my money. I wouldn't keep it in cash, no ways. But that's my personal opinion. And I wouldn't wait for interest rates to fall, because you're looking at bidding wars again, straight up. And then the same cycle starting all over again of inflation. You're losing purchasing power. And I really believe the way our economy is going, our dollar is devaluing, our economy is struggling, I don't see inflation. I find cost of goods being imported are going to get costlier, especially with the carbon tax now too. And God knows what other taxes are going to get added on. Hopefully a good election year, and we have someone who understands economics and understands the reality of our economy and helps us put us on the right path there. Anyways, guys, I talk way too much, and I love you guys way too much. Feel free to comment, share, like, whatever you want below. And give me your thoughts and let me know what topics you have questions about and what my thoughts are on those. I don't mind sharing my thoughts, my opinion, again, my personal opinion. And if I need an expert opinion, I will ask my lawyer friends, my accountant friends, and will always help you out. Cheers, guys. Take care.